And welcome to the Marcus and Mike show, guys, where we stay hydrated with water 24/7, 365. The
Man,
main hydration man over there is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, Michael. What's going on? You doing all right?
I'm hydrating my water. I was under the
Okay.
weather a couple days ago. I don't know if it was
Wow.
dehydration, sun poisoning, or what it was, but I am 100% now. Yesterday, I'm sure you guys saw me. I was kind of like blah, but today I'm ready to
Yeah.
go, man. I'm ready to
There
I'm
you go.
ready to get at it. And something to get you underneath that skin real fast here, Marcus. Duke
Uh-huh.
Johnson to the Houston Texans. I know you're pretty passionate about this. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on it?
Okay. Well, I'm a Texans fan and a Cowboy fan, so this is good news, bad news for me. The Texans, it's a perfect fit. They just cut Dante Foreman, ethic and other issues. They didn't want him around. And by the way, Dante Foreman, whoever picks him up, I think it's the Colts. I watched every carry that this guy had in college. Played for the University of Texas. I liked him. I wasn't in love with him. He doesn't have top end and speed. He doesn't have juke moves, but he's a good solid runner. He's hard to bring down. He fumbles too much, and he fumbled at key moments at Texas. And so, and then in one of his last drills as a Texan, he fumbled on goal line, and I think Bill O'Brien had had enough. So you combine with the fumble, the worth ethic, not going to his treatment for his Achilles all the time. So they went ahead and waived him. And they really didn't have another back on the roster that could carry a load if Lamar Miller went down. So this Duke Johnson trade is great for the Houston Texans. He's a third down back. There's also some games where if Lamar Miller gets hurt, he can get 15, 20 carries. That's no problem. So the Duke Johnson thing is absolutely fabulous. John McClain reported from the Houston Chronicle, we call him the general here in Texas. He reported that the second string running back is not on the roster yet. And I agree with they have some good, decent players. For that second string, I think they picked up a player from that played with the Dolphins last year. Um, and so, he's a good player, but he's not a guy that if Lamar Miller went down, you just go with him. So Duke Johnson is that player.
Right.
This guy is a really good receiver out of the backfield. Call him a poor man's Marshall Faulk. He's gotten over 2,000 yards rushing and 2,000 yards receiving the past 3 or 4 years. He's a jack of all trades. He's fast. Out of the U. As a matter of fact, I think what's unique. I just now thought of this. Wow, he replaced Lamar Miller at the U, so now he's backing up Lamar Miller at Houston. So that just dawned on me. So that's a good thing. Those two guys, Lamar Miller and Duke Johnson, know each other real well. Big signee for the Texans. Big pickup, big trade actually. And they give up a fourth round pick. Fourth round picks are at a premium in the NFL, but you get a caliber of player like Duke Johnson. It's well worth it. Now, Texans, great job. Great insurance, Duke Johnson. Now for the other side, Dallas Cowboys. There was rumblings about they were going to trade for Duke Johnson, maybe give up as high as a third round pick and as low as a fifth round pick. So a fourth round pick is right on the money. When you want to play hardball with Ezekiel Elliott, I'm fine with that. They're offering Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell money and a little bit higher, just not as high as Todd Gurley. Okay, and he's turning that down. So if you want to call that hardball, I mean, they're offering him a fair contract. So if you want to do that with Ezekiel Elliott and run the risk of him not showing up for a whole year, I don't know why he would do that. That would be asinine. He wouldn't show up till week 11
Right.
to accrue that season so he can be a free agent. But if you want to play hardball with him, you can't have a kid named Jackson, number 34. I like Pollard. I think they got him at number 36, fourth round pick out of Memphis. You have to have a solid veteran, okay, that's got NFL carries and it's at 1,000-yard seasons or something. And they did bring back Alfred Morris, which I'm happy about, but they had a chance to make a trade for Duke Johnson, sending a fourth round pick, and they didn't pull the trigger. And I don't understand that at all. I don't get that. Duke Johnson would have been awesome in a Cowboy uniform if there's no Ezekiel Elliott. He's got at third down situations. Duke Johnson, you throw the ball to him. Dak's in trouble, just like when Ezekiel Elliott bails out Dak sometimes, and Darren Sproles bails out whatever quarterback he's on, team he's on. Duke Johnson is perfect at that. Duke Johnson, you throw it to him. He's a scat back. He makes you miss. He's got quick twitch muscles that has allowed him to last in the NFL for 4 or 5 years already. Usually the lifespan of a running back is 3.5 years.
Right.
But Duke Johnson has that Darren Sproles' ability. Okay, and the fact that you did the Cowboys, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Will McClay couldn't send the Cleveland Browns a 4th-round pick for Duke Johnson in the summer or last month is mind-boggling to me. I mean, Duke Johnson should be a Cowboy right now, and that's upsetting. I like Alfred Morris, but Duke Johnson's got that escapability that he's going to make you miss, and Duke Johnson can take it to the house. There's not too many DBs that are going to catch Duke Johnson. So kudos to the Texans for getting him. And bad news bad for Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones for not pulling that trigger and getting Duke Johnson in a Cowboy uniform. They were going to get him like a couple of months ago, and I don't know what happened. There was a lot of talk about that, and I don't get it. So, anyways, it is what it is. Alfred Morris is a Cowboy. I think he's going to do wonders behind that offensive line, but I think Duke Johnson would have been. You could have really played hardball with Zeke if you had a Duke Johnson in your program.
Right. So that's exactly where I was going to go with that. I want to stay on that Cowboys topic real fast here. If you really wanted to play hardball with Zeke, you need to get somebody in there that could possibly replace him moving forward if push comes to shove. Alfred Morris is not that guy. He is another 1-year fix, maybe 6 or 7 games. He will not give you a full season like he did when he was with the Washington Skins there for 5 or 6 years or however long, just like he was there. Kind of like what the Pittsburgh Steelers, they had James Conner when Le'Veon Bell, James Conner stepped right in there. And the Steelers fans are like, oh, we got James Conner. We're going to be okay. Yes. So the urgency to get Le'Veon Bell back kind of backpedaled just a tad bit there. And that is what the Cowboys should have done with Duke Johnson there, because just like what you said, we can, with the offensive line that the Dallas Cowboys have, they can put a mediocre or above average tailback back there, and he will look like a Pro Bowler.
He will.
Mark.
I agree, and just having Duke Johnson for his versatility. I mean, you can have Alfred Morris on 1st and 2nd down or some other running backs.
Right.
Duke Johnson's a premier 3rd down back. Line him up right here. You can line him up in different positions. He's a decent receiver as well. So he's one of those. And look, that's what they hope that Pollard is. But you could have had Pollard and Duke. You could have had speed everywhere. And I don't want to just label Duke as a 3rd down back. Duke can get it on 1st and 2nd down as well.
Right.
And better than Pollard. He could have showed Pollard the ropes, but instead they went with, their old same old Alfred Morris. And I think Alfred Morris is going to do fine, but he's not Duke Johnson.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he will be fine for this year, but if you're looking for a long-term solution, he is not going to be it. Just like you said, running back shelf lives are about 4 years. I remember him seeing at least 6 years in a Washington Redskins jersey. Yes. So he's at least 8 or 9 years in the league. But now let's go ahead and transfer back over to the Cleveland Browns a little bit here. The Cleveland Browns, they nailed this right on the head. They have Chubb and they have Hunt, and then they had Duke Johnson. They could have played hardball a little bit with teams wanting Duke Johnson, needing a Duke Johnson, and got as high as a 3rd, maybe even a late 2nd round pick. But a 4th round pick is fine, because that is where you find a lot of those studs, like a lot of those hungry players. Looking at the 2020 draft that the Cleveland Browns have, they have 8 picks so far, and they are looking to trade a couple more players to get 9 and 10 picks in the 2020 draft. With the team, with all the talent that they already have established around them, they have, Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., Chubb, Hunt, the list goes on and on. They have a lot of big name talent like over there. And this 2020 draft, looking forward, way far ahead, if the Cleveland Browns nail the 2020 draft, get all those quality pieces that they need, add depth to their defense and line, guys, I hate to say this, but look out for the Cleveland Browns in 2020. Yes, I know it's a win now league, but we're looking at the 2020 draft. The 2020 season, the 2021 season, that's a mouthful. Look out for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, this extra 4th round pick they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and then like you said, they had a wealth of running backs, and now they have Nick Chubb, who they really like, kid out of Georgia, and I really like number 27 in your Georgia program there. He was I'm a college football junkie. So he and Sony Michel were a beast at Georgia. Now Sony Michel's did really well for the Patriots in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, which was really nice. But yeah, now they got Nick Chubb there at Cleveland holding on the fort until your man Kareem Hunt shows up there in Week 9.
Well,
good problem to have.
And to be honest, I think Chubb will hold that starting spot the whole time.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt will be a great accent back.
Yes.
Because we heard earlier that he got in a little bit of trouble again. Are the Cleveland Browns even going to welcome him back on the team? We don't really know yet, because I think he's injured now too. He has a strained hamstring or a quad or something to that effect. But go ahead.
He ought to be ready Week 9, but it's a good problem to have, because the running back by committee thing, I like it. I in today's NFL, maybe not so much. When I was watching football in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and all that. Eric Dickerson and Tony Dorsett, they need to warm up by the fourth quarter. They'll break one and all that. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't work today. There's too many snaps today. Things are going too fast. There's too much up tempo. You need Kareem Hunt there to spell Nick Chubb can't go every possession, all downs. So you're gonna need Kareem Hunt by Week 9 to, hey Nick, tell Chubb, hey, take this series off. We'll put in Kareem Hunt. It's a good problem to have. And Cowboys could have had that nice problem with Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
And now they don't. Now the Texans have a nice problem now having Lamar Miller and Duke Johnson as their running back. So, yeah, I mean, I think the Cowboys just dropped the ball on that.
Let me look in my crystal ball here. See what I see? I see Kareem Hunt going back to the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2020 season.
That's possible.
I'm just throwing it out there. But
yeah, no.
Go ahead.
Yep. Hey, if he's a free agent, I would go back to Kansas City as well. I mean, they love him there. The fans love him.
we miss him.
They released him too soon. They released him too soon, and the fans love him. I mean, I really do. I think he'll be welcomed back with open arms.
And I've seen on his Twitter that he wants to come back to Kansas City to prove,
right,
to prove whatever he thinks he needs to prove to us. He doesn't need to, I think he is an extreme talent. Did good things for Kansas City. I would like to welcome him back with open arms if he would want to come back.
And then what a lavish life he lives right now, in terms of once he gets his life together and gets all that straight, he's going to have to do all the community service type stuff and, tell everybody he's sorry and all. He's going to go through all that stuff and tell him it was a weak moment and stuff like that. And I get all that, but he gets to play with Baker Mayfield, and then Baker Mayfield's a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then if he signs with the Kansas City, he gets to go play with the best quarterback in the NFL. So he doesn't know anything but really good quarterbacks or great quarterbacks. So that's a good life to live too. Yeah.
So speaking of good lives, we talked about $100 million quarterbacks on here, $100 million wide receivers. I've been on record many, many times saying that you cannot win if you have a $100 million player on your team. You have further stats to prove that. What do you got?
No, you're a 100. You're not 98% correct. You're 100% correct on this. Only Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady, after they've got the $100 million contract, an upgrade in their pay, actually have a really good winning percentage. That they've either stayed where they're at or they've gone up. Every quarterback that has gotten the $100 million, from Russell Wilson to Matt Ryan to Matthew Stafford, have all dropped. Their team play has dropped because they can't pay other players on the roster.
So let me put an asterisk on that. Just 1 second. Let me put an asterisk by that. Didn't Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger both restructure their contracts 2-3 years down the road to bring more players in?
Yeah, no, but that's what they do. But they're being paid the big bucks.
Okay.
Only those two, from when I just read, only those two have increased their winning percentage once getting a major deal. Now, after that major deal, they restructured, but only those two have actually had a winning percentage. Like Matt Ryan's gone down, Matthew Stafford winning percentage has gone down. Who's the other guy I just mentioned? But they've all Russell Wilson went from winning 72% to 60% once he got the contract. So that's a big drop off. So these players that get these quarterbacks that get these big mega deals, their teams aren't the team success is not there. So you're 100% correct on those. And the only reason why Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh missed the playoff last year, by the way.
Yeah.
But the only reason why Pittsburgh and New England are able to win, even after giving quarterbacks some good money there, they restructured their deals. So yeah, so that Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford and all these other quarterbacks that got these major deals, They didn't restructure their deal or anything. So yeah, you see the team play goes completely down. So that's why I'm a little scared about this Cowboy situation.
Yeah.
Once Dak gets that big money, the Cowboys better win now. You hear a lot of talking heads and 5-year plans and all that. You know what I think of your 5-year plan?
Shove it up your butt.
Yeah, dude. I'm not joking. I don't want to hear about, in 2024, the Cowboys could. No, dude. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 2024. You don't know what's going on. DeMarcus Lawrence will be 30-some years old, man. Stop with the 5-year plan stuff. These quarterbacks are getting a lot of money. They need to win now.
And just to further add to your point there, Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, they won a lot before they got their big deals as well. They also had a pretty solid team around them. So the front office did their due diligence, and they sprinkled some money here, sprinkled some money there, and then put a lot more money here. So when you hear Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger making $100 million, for their 5 or 6 year deals that they had, but then you see a stat where Tom Brady last year was only making $12 million or something to that effect, because they know Tom Brady is smart enough to know, hey, I cannot take 25% of the salary cap. I need a wide receiver to throw to. Right. I need a lineman to protect my slow butt. You can want the big deals. You might deserve the big deals, but if you want to win at the end of the day, you cannot take those big deals. You have to be smarter than the average bear, I guess, to realize, hey, I deserve $100 million, but I'm okay making 65. I'm okay making 85. It's right. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's just $15 million, and it's not like $15 million less a year. It's $2 million less a year. It's $3 million less a year. So just, I mean, you cannot win if you have $100 million player. Saints, beginning of the end. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it significantly decreases your odds of winning because you have to pay the other players. I mean, that's just common sense. So, Russell Wilson's a great example of that. Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan. Matter of fact, Matt Ryan, since he signed his big deal, or after his rookie contract, he signed his big deal. He hasn't even. I think he's at 48% winning percentage. So they're crazy. It's crazy. And then they just signed Deion Jones, who's a hell of a player, kid out of LSU, number 45 in your Atlanta Falcon program there, and he's about as good a cover linebacker as there is in the league. But they just signed him to about $45 million. So there you go. There's another linebacker quarterback duo, just like Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson, taking up most of the cap. And so Atlanta's not going to win anything, probably. I mean, they might be competitive. Sure. Great. Be competitive. They're not going to win anything. I guess that's what we're trying to say. Their winning percentage went straight down.
Yeah, and then when you say competitive, you can be competitive at 8-8 and never make the playoffs ever again. You can be competitive at 6-10. Just not get blown out those 10 games.
Right.
You are still quote unquote competitive, but you guys are never going to win a Super Bowl having $100 million quarterback or receiver or running back or a linebacker.
Here's another, Joe Flacco. Didn't they give him the big money?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, after he won the Super Bowl, what happened? Nothing.
Yeah. I believe he's at Denver Broncos now, right?
Yeah, zero happened. And that guy should have never got the big deal.
Yeah.
That guy, if you watch the Super Bowl year with Joe Flacco, he would throw it up to some guy named Anquan Boldin, and Anquan Boldin would catch it every time. You know what happened the following year when Joe Flacco got paid and Anquan Boldin left? You know what Flacco did? He led the league in interceptions.
Right.
Congratulations. So he missed Anquan Boldin bad. So Ozzie Newsome, as good as he's been, the GM, and I think he's retiring or he retired.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco needed Anquan Boldin. You need me.
Yeah, I do need you. But this is kind of while you were talking, and I've been kind of thinking about this, but I never really voiced the opinion. Sometimes I think these teams, like the Detroit Lions, like the Atlanta Falcons, like the Seattle Seahawks, throw big money at their quarterbacks is because that quarterback name is bringing in so much jersey sales, so many fans to come see him.
Yes.
that the team hasn't been very good for so long. Like, hey,
Right.
we got a big name quarterback. Let's keep him around here for 10, 15 years. Here's $100 million, Matthew Stafford. Yes, you've never won a division. Yes, you never won a playoff game, but here, come stay for us for 10 years. Fill our
Yeah.
stadium up. So, I mean,
It
like,
puts a lot of pressure on the NFL scouts to scout the college, because basically after you give Matthew Stafford $100-some million,
Yeah.
you could turn to your college scouts, your professional scouts, right, and say, if you guys don't pick the right players and give us the information on the right players, we might go 4-12 every year. So then the draft, because then you get those players on the cheap. The draft becomes, if you miss on the draft and you have $100 million quarterback, welcome to 4-12.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like a quarterback cannot handedly make you to the playoffs.
Right. This
It's
isn't
simple as
the NBA. LeBron James and
Right.
a bunch of guys like me and you from the rec league get the number one seed. Yeah. So this is not. Yeah.
Right. So speaking of making the playoffs, Denver Broncos did not make the playoffs again last year, even though they were in the running toward the end. I think they finished 7-9. I believe their record was, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, in a very tough division with the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Oakland Raiders. Or is it Oakland Raiders still? Or are we going Vegas Raiders or London Raiders?
Yeah. Out of the
Mexican
Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah, they'll be the lost. Right. They'll just be they are moving to Vegas next year, right? Is it next year?
I don't know if the league ever approved that, but they are building a stadium at least over there.
Okay, so whatever, the Raiders.
Right, the Raiders. But
okay,
that's exactly who Denver Broncos opened up the week with. They are traveling to Oakland to take on the Raiders. Who do you got in that one?
I got the Oakland Raiders in this one. This is home opener there. This is a big deal. This is the Raiders will be jacked up. You got a bunch of weeks to prepare for the Broncos coming in. And speaking of Flacco, it's weird how John Elway was. I could consider John Elway might be the greatest prospect ever. You could literally put him. I mean, he's in contention for the greatest quarterback of all time. He is in that contention. I mean, it's not hyperbole if you want to say John Elway's the best quarterback of all time. You could actually convince me of that, because I think he is, until Tom Brady goes on his unbelievable runs. And listen, it's amazing how this guy could play such good quarterback, but he can't evaluate quarterbacks very well. It's like Michael Jordan. He could play the game at a high level, but then has a hard time evaluating talent. Now, John Elway is not Michael Jordan. Let me say this. Let me clear that. I don't want anybody to take what I'm saying the wrong way. John Elway put together a Super Bowl team. They won the Super Bowl.
Right.
So he won a Super Bowl as a player and as a general manager, executive, whatever. So but he just has a hard time evaluating these quarterbacks, which is mind-boggling to me. And he brought in another stopgap measure here, Joe Flacco, which I don't think Joe's very good either. Joe has moments where he'll look like Dan Marino and Dan Fouts, and you go, damn, that's a $100 million quarterback. And then he's got moments where he looks worse than Ryan Fitzpatrick and Eli Manning.
Right.
He looks terrible. So big arm Joe there. But I don't think. They better hope that Drew Lock is the answer. And let me tell you something. I like Drew Lock and Dwayne Haskins coming out of college. So I think Drew Lock could be the answer. But I know it's not Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco is going to start the season. I don't like rookie starting, and I don't think neither does Elway. So yeah, I'll go ahead and they're going to take this first loss here at Oakland.
Yeah, so I have Oakland winning as well. But just to touch on your quarterback situation there in Denver, they did draft Drew Lock in the NFL draft this past year, and maybe John Elway is starting to learn from other teams in his division. Look what the Kansas City Chiefs did. They had Alex Smith, he was a pro quarterback. He knew how to manage the game, not lose you the game, but not win you the game either.
Right.
Maybe Joe Flacco is in Denver for 1 year and for one reason only: to teach Drew Lock how to be a professional quarterback, how to prepare, how to watch film, how to go into the off season. This year, Denver Broncos may not be very good. I'm putting it out there. You guys might be happy with a 4-12 record, but next year when Drew Lock comes in and he knows how to be a pro, he knows how to train, he knows how to watch film, he knows how to prepare, you guys might be another 8-8 team again, because you will never beat the Kansas City Chiefs ever again. So
no.
going into week 2 here, They're at home at Mile High Stadium taking on the Chicago Bears. Who do you got?
I got Denver winning this one. Mitchell Trubisky would be running for his life from Von Miller and the boys, and they also. I don't know if you know this, but the Denver Broncos also have a guy named Chubb.
Yeah.
And this guy gets after your ass at quarterback. He gets after quarterbacks. We got 2 Chubbs in the league. Good runner and a good pass rusher. And this one's the good pass rusher. And he and Von Miller, I'm going to go out and will combine for 30 sacks this year.
Okay. I actually have the Denver winning this game as well. Just going from a sea level or a lake level to Mile High, that's got to be hard on any player whatsoever.
Right.
It is always hard to play at Mile High because of the altitude.
Right.
So giving us a Week 3 matchup, traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers.
Loss.
You have that one as a loss.
Yeah, Denver will lose this one. So I got Green Bay winning this one at home. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers will get him here. It won't be easy. This is going to be one of those who's got the ball last. That's the way a lot of the NFL has gone the last few years. I mean, because this is an 8-8 league, and everybody plays it close to the best. The 6-10 teams lost all the close games, and the 10-6 teams won about 4 of those.
Right.
So this is just your difference right here, and I'll go Green Bay winning a close one against Denver here.
I have Green Bay winning this one as well. I think it's not going to be as close as the score is going to show. I mean, it might be a 4 or 5 point game, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to simply dominate this game. He has something to prove to the Lambeau faithfuls there that he is the guy type of situation there. And then week number 4, back at home, take on Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nick Foles, 4 interceptions. Denver wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same story that I said in week 2. You're going from sea level to Mile High. It's hard. Denver Broncos at home. Week 5, traveling to LA to take on the Chargers.
Loss. They'll lose this one.
Yeah, I have
Chargers.
That. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chargers just too tough, man. Chargers and it's gonna. Is that a battle royal or what? Chargers and Chiefs. What's a better? You should put that on a poll. Right. What's a better 2-man win for your division, or who's going to win the division? Chargers, Chiefs. I mean, that's a battle royal. That'll come down to the week final game. Remember, we even talked about that yesterday. Or Dallas, Philly. That might come down to the final game. Yeah. I mean, it does. You know what I mean? Both of those. Yeah.
Yeah. After the show, we'll definitely put that poll up there. But I do have the Broncos losing this one to the Chargers, even though the Chargers really don't have a home field advantage because they don't have a home stadium yet. They're playing at the Coliseum or the Rose Bowl or whatever the hell it is called.
They were playing it was like 30,000 seater there somewhere.
And it was still empty, but it's just weird.
Still, No, it was craziest thing. Did you see it last year when when the Eagles traveled to L.A. and it was like 30,000 seater? There was like 20,000 Philadelphia Eagle fans there.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was a home game for the Eagles, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. But the next week, week 6, back at home, take on the Tennessee Titans.
I'll have them winning this one. So right now, I guess I got them win-loss. I guess I got them at 3-3 now. Yep. Win-loss. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll have them beating Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the same thing, 3-3. I just don't think Tennessee is as great as advertised. Like we said many times, they are the worst team in their division. So Broncos snub them, and this one. This is where we start to differ a little bit. Week 7, they're at home, take on Kansas City. You have them beating Kansas City. I have them losing to Kansas City.
Okay.
Week number 8, traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Who do you got?
Here comes Flacco's interceptions. This one is in the dome. They'll throw a bunch of interceptions. I have Indianapolis winning this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is where the Colts defense will flex their muscles and show them that they are a team to be reckoned with.
Right.
Next week, they're back at home, take on the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, my God. This is going to be I'm a believer in Cleveland this year. I'm one of the Believelands.
There you go.
Yeah, golly. You know what? I'll still take Denver to win this one. The hell with it. It's at Mile High. Baker. This is one of those games where Baker Mayfield will make a couple of mistakes here and lose the game. I'll go ahead and take Denver in this one.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I do have Denver winning this game because Cleveland historically finds new ways to lose. So, do you remember the historical fumble from Mark Sanchez and the Jets when he Randy ran into his
Yeah,
tackle and knocked him out?
yeah, the butt fumble.
Baker Mayfield is going to scramble, run into a tailback, and fumble the ball, and they're going to lose the ball. And like
Okay.
Von Miller will pick it up and scoop it up for a fumble pick six type thing.
Or Bradley Chubb.
Yeah,
Either one of them.
there we go. And then that gives us what is that? A week 10 bye week, going into week 11, traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
They'll have 2 weeks to prepare for the Minnesota Vikings, and it will do them no good. Minnesota will win this game.
I had the same on that as well. Minnesota is much better than the Broncos are. Week number 12, still on the road, take on the Buffalo Bills. Who do you got?
Buffalo in the freezing cold weather will beat them.
Yeah, we actually already had that pick. I'm sorry. That is my fault.
Yeah.
I have them beating. Yeah, I have them beating Buffalo Bills actually this week.
Right.
Week 13 at home, take on the Los Angeles Chargers.
This will be a payback. They'll beat the Chargers, and this will really help Kansas City. This will be a win that you'll be rooting. You'll be putting on your Joe Flacco jersey because you'll be needing the Chargers to lose. If you're a Chiefs fan, you'll be rooting for the Chargers to beat. Or no, excuse me. You'll be rooting for Denver to beat the Chargers because you're going to be battling the Chargers for that record there.
As much as I hate the ponies, I think you're right. But I feel like you're looking at my picks over here, Marcus. I had the same thing. I had the Broncos winning at home versus the Chargers here, giving us the Week 14 matchup at Houston, taking on the Texans. You'll be there.
Will I be there? It'll be me or my son. But yeah, one of us will be there. Yeah. Houston, this is a blowout. They're gonna get blitzed here. You talk about Joe Flacco won't be able to hear anything. So yeah, Houston will win this game.
Depending on the record, this might be the time of year that we start seeing Drew Lock. Depending on the playoff race, how far they're out. I mean, like right now we have about a 500 record, give or take. So more than likely out of the playoffs.
Yeah. What do I have them at so far?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. 6 wins.
I only have them at 5 wins?
6 wins. I'm sorry, 6 wins.
So I've got them at 6-6 right now, or?
Yep.
Okay. So that's after they lose to Houston, they're 6-7?
Yep.
Okay.
I had them losing to Houston as well. Houston's just a pretty damn good team. Much better than the Denver Broncos. Week 15, we have them both losing to Kansas City, giving us a Week 16 matchup versus the Detroit Lions. I have them winning this game. Lions suck.
Yeah, Detroit will win this game. Yeah, the Kansas City game's a blowout. Mahomes will be in the drinking water in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So yeah, Detroit. Yeah, they'll bounce back and they'll beat Detroit.
$1 Million Man loses again, giving us a Week 17 matchup at home, taking on the Oakland Raiders.
Oh God, this game will be the opposite of flexed. Right now they have it at 425, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens? The NFL scrambles near the end of the year, and so they see which games are important. This game will go back to noon or 1. This game will be absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? They'll put another game at 425. That means something. So this game will be a noon game, and nobody will watch it except Flacco's mom, Drew Lock's mom. She'll be watching. Antonio Brown's wife, they'll be watching. I guess the coaches have to show up, right, for this one?
Right.
So this will be a play out the string thing, and Denver kicks the game-winning field goal and goes 8-8.
You have them going 8-8. I have them losing to Oakland because I think Oakland is going to make a strong wild card push toward the end of the season. So they have to get this win. They have to beat the Broncos in Week 17, and I think it's going to stay at the 425 mark because Antonio Brown is must-see TV.
Well, you know what?
So
if you're correct and you're saying that Oakland needs that game to go in the playoffs, it might stay at 425 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how, yeah.
And so that gives me the Broncos going 7-9. So same as last year, you have them going 8-8.
Yeah, I had an 8-8, 7-9. That's what they are. I mean, that's, to be honest, and most of those 7 or 8 victories will come via the defense.
Right. Their defense is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the same defense that they had when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. What was it, 3 or 4 years ago now?
Yeah.
Minus the guy that went to the Rams. His name's slipping my mind right now. The Aqib Khalib from Kansas.
Yeah. Akeem
So
Talib, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they have some players here from that roster. They had a big signing in Kareem Jackson from the
mhm,
Texans. Um, they're a really good defense. I don't,
they're
their
solid.
front three is okay. Their front three is okay. Derek Wolf, I've always loved Derek Wolf. Big five technique. Um, Five technique is a 3-4 end. I've always loved Derek Wolf. He's a good one. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Bradley Chubb and Von Miller is as good as it gets on the outside. So Chris Harris Jr. also from Kansas is a good cover corner. Um, so yeah, no, I don't think they'll have a lot of issues defensively if they stay healthy. And let me tell you something right now. If all of a sudden they get hurt defensive wise, now you're
Screwed.
looking 4-12. Yeah,
Easy.
you're looking. It's really over. Yeah.
As the defense is going to win you a lot of games, the offense might lose you a lot of games as well.
Yeah.
Just because what they trade away, uh, Demarius Thomas, I think he's with the Houston now, isn't he?
No, then yeah, Houston released him, so I'm not sure where Demarius is right now. He tore
Okay,
his Achilles, so he's
that's
not going
right.
to be with anybody. But until like maybe I think some team picked him up, but he won't be ready to go until like week 9 because
Right.
he tore his Achilles like later on. Yeah, so
Yeah, it was kind of sad seeing that little wide receiver core that they had happening, which was pretty
yeah,
good, and they kind of just like they blew it up because they
yeah,
thought the
they
wide
blew it
receiver
up.
was, but like that is what it is. But you are a college football connoisseur. Let me ask you a question. I see Kansas Jayhawks from the Big 12, absolutely the worst Division One football team out there. They haven't won a
Okay.
conference game in like what 13 years or something
Uh,
crazy to like that effect. How do they produce so many professional athletes? Could they have a Aqib Khalib in there? I mean,
oh,
they have like
well, we just mentioned Aqib Talib and Chris Harris.
yeah, but
Um,
I feel like almost every team has a Kansas Jayhawk on there as far as the lineman
yeah,
goes or defensive line. It's just crazy to me.
yeah, I mean that is it, and then they might have another one in their running back. Her name is Pookie or something. He's
Yeah.
a heck of a scat back. I mean, Les Miles, now the head coach at Kansas, he will be getting the ball to, I think he's where's number 6. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
little Puka or Pookie Williams or whatever his
Hmm.
name is. He's must see TV actually for Kansas,
Yeah.
so he'll be fun to watch. But you're right though. The Cowboys have Torrance Armstrong. He was the best defensive end that Kansas had. He was their best player. He wore number 92, I think, at Kansas. And he wears number 92 with the Cowboys now, I think. And also, Dallas took their defensive tackle, who was their best defensive tackle um, over the years, Kansas. So they do produce once in a while. They do have some NFL players. You're right about that. It's kind of weird. And I'm gonna tell you something. Les Miles is a decent recruiter now. So I'm not saying Kansas is gonna be up there, but Kansas will get some decent recruits. So yeah, that is funny. That's a funny one. Kansas has NFL players, and they've been terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, I pulled it up here on the old Google Google machine, and just maybe it is just because I watched the Broncos so much because
Right.
I'm a Chiefs fan that I heard Aqib
Right.
Khalid's name all the time, yada yada yada. But they only have one, two, three, four, five, six current players in the. I'm sorry, yeah, six current players in the NFL. So, I mean that's not horrible by like any means, but
No.
since 2001, I mean they've had 10 players drafted in the NFL for being the worst team in Division 1 football as far as record wise going over since since that Orange Bowl
Right.
appearance in like 2008, I think it was 9. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
And
crazy
I
to me.
think Aqib Talib and Chris Harris were on that team, and
Yeah.
they were pretty good. That was pretty good Kansas defense there. Um, yeah, no, I mean they have produced some good players. No, there have been more. You said there's 6. There have been more in the past few years. Maybe they last 1 or 2 years and then they retire.
Yeah,
But there have been more than that. There have been
that was all present players
right
on a
present,
roster. Yeah,
right. So
but
and yeah, and then Dallas also has a defensive tackle of theirs from last year. I think it's God, I forgot his name is Pike. Um, he-
I
he's
yeah
he's a deep he's a defensive tackle. And I don't know if he'll make the roster, but he's a defensive tackle on the Cowboys.
yeah. See, like that name's not pulling up. So I wonder how they broke this down. Like maybe it's like maybe it's starters. Maybe that's how they're figuring it
Okay.
out. But I don't, because if you pull up the list of Kansas Jayhawks in the NFL,
Dallas Cowboys undrafted
I
free
mean,
agents.
there are like 6 top 10 picks in the last 15 years. So, I
Okay,
mean,
here we
like,
go. I'm
yeah,
sorry, not Pipe. Daniel Weiss is with the Cowboys right now. He was the Kansas Jayhawks top defensive tackle. I remember him. He and Dorrance Armstrong were really two good defenders that Kansas Jayhawks have had over the few years. So yeah, Daniel Weiss, Wice. He's with the Cowboys now.
yeah. Say
Defensive tackle.
he still isn't on like on this list that I have in
Right.
front
He's in
of
the
me.
Cowboys training camp right now. Daniel Weiss.
So maybe it's just not updated. Oh no, here it is. It's an alphabetical order. That's
Okay.
what is going on. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There he is. He's at the very bottom. But
Right.
yeah. So I mean, look, like guys, this is a look like it just keeps strolling. I mean, they got a lot of freaking players in the NFL. So if you're wanting to go to the NFL, let me do some recruiting for KU. No, guys,
No, but
Lawrence
yeah,
sucks. Don't go there.
yeah, no, but they're producing as much NFL players as a small school that's really good.
Right.
They're producing actually more NFL players
You're right.
than yeah. So it's actually not bad. I mean, listen, the bottom line is Kansas is in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And if my son got a scholarship to Kansas and your son did, and he was the best defensive tackle in high school, but nobody else was offering, he would get that full ride to Kansas. You'd let him go there, and he's going to be on film.
Yeah.
Trust me. The Cowboys found Daniel Weiss. Daniel Weiss dominated a few games at Kansas at defensive tackle. I remember him. So now he's on a Cowboys roster. You're on film. You're in the Big 12. I don't care. I don't even care if you're Division II. You're on film. That's what I would tell my son. You're on film wherever you go.
Right.
So your film carries. And as a matter of fact, if nobody's looking at your film, you do like the there's a couple of players. I think Julian Edelman. He and his dad and they packaged his tape and they sent it to NFL teams.
Right.
And where's Julian Edelman today? He's on film. So I guess the Patriots got that tape and went, wow, we missed this guy. So you're on tape wherever you go, man. The NFL is going to find you. The Cowboys have 2 top defensive linemen from the University of Kansas in the past 2 years, Armstrong and Wise. And Armstrong easily is making the team. Number 92, he's making the team. He made the team last year. I remember was it Bob Stoops? I think it was Bob Stoops that actually said that Armstrong was the only guy they had the game plan for going up against Kansas.
I remember
he wanted them to know where Armstrong was. So now that's why he was a draftable player.
Yeah.
Weiss, one of those big uglies down there, he didn't get drafted, but I remember him dominating a few games. Kansas State or Missouri or somebody was having a hard time getting in the goal line, and it was because of Daniel Weiss for Kansas. And so now he's one of your defensive tackles for the Cowboys. Now, the problem with going to the Cowboys for Daniel Weiss is they're loaded. Yeah. I will guarantee you that if he gets cut, Daniel Weiss will be picked up by another team. Because, I mean, Cowboys are kind of loaded in there. Malik Collins, Christian Covington.
They're loaded all over the place except for some special teams players.
So if you're Daniel Weiss, I mean, you go ahead and you put your best foot forward with the Cowboys, but you're probably going to be playing on another NFL team soon, because Dallas will probably release. They have so many good players.
All right, guys. So that's going to be it for today. We kind of went off on a tangent there. I don't like talking about the Kansas Jayhawks, but hey, they brought it up the topic, and me and Mark can talk about just about anything, any point of any team in today. So join us tomorrow, guys. We're going to break down the LA Chargers, break down their schedule, possibly continuing for that number 1 AFC playoff seed. So we'll see how they fall into place. So join us tomorrow, same time, same place, all the good stuff. Have a good day.